Hello, everyone. My name is Modupe Ativie. I'm speaking from Nigeria in West Africa. It's really great to be here. And I'd like to say thank you to Anne-Marie for the invite. I also want to give a bit of a background on why I decided to talk about compliance. Um, in my career, I am at the moment a cryptocurrency compliance specialist. And one of the reasons why I decided to take that course to get that speciality is because there's just not much in the way of regulation and law, first of all, in the crypto space in general, but then again in Africa, there's so much left to be done. Many times the news and the headlines carries information about what's happening in most of the other parts of the developed world. So I thought to shed some light on what is happening in the crypto and the blockchain space in Africa, especially when it comes to compliance, and to also share my reasons why I think this would help increase adoption across the continent. Can I have the next slide, please? Or can I share it on my own? Okay, I think I can, yeah, move this on my own. Oh, sorry. So this is a picture to show the African crypto land space. So if we look at this picture, I know it's a bit small. I hope we can see it a bit clearer. You could see that the red spots are the places or the countries where crypto use is completely banned. Most of North Africa has it completely banned, a few countries in South Africa, and then Nigeria, which is my country, alone in West Africa. Now, there's a complete ban because the government refuses to recognize the use or the trade of the currencies, but there is the use, you can use the technology. For instance, in Nigeria, just this month of June, the beginning of this month of June, we got the government approval, the federal government approved the use of blockchain technology to improve business processes. So we have blockchain approval, but then we can't use crypto. So that's what's happening. Then you see most of the darker pink countries, there's no official stance. One of the countries with dark pink is Ghana, and Ghana at the moment is working on their own CBDC. The lighter pink countries are friendly, they're progressive. We have Senegal, we have South Africa. South Africa has a really big crypto community building up there as well. And then the gray countries, the countries ticked gray, there's just no data, no information. Across the continent, we have lots of crypto users, but there's no official data coming out of those countries. Okay, so as an introduction, I'm saying that in spite of the unfavorable regulations and conditions, Africa and Africans are becoming more aware and really getting involved with cryptocurrencies and then with blockchain and DLT in general. We have loads of startups who get funding every year. We have people beginning to see how important blockchain could be in future and in the future of work. And even we're beginning to see countries and governments also looking into enhanced blockchain solutions in combination with AI and other emerging technologies. Nigeria, in contradiction somehow, launched a CBDC in 2021. I remember I wrote an article that year in 2021 of how Nigeria moved from a cryptocurrency ban to launching their own CBDC in 2021. There was a bit of an irony to most of the world, wondering why we were banning the use of cryptocurrencies if we were just going to launch our own CBDC. Adoption is still really low with the CBDC, and that's just because people are still yet to understand what it is all about. And I think the launch plan, the government launch plan, was not very effective. So it hasn't really taken off as we expected it to. So why do we need this more of this technology? Why do we need to increase adoption? First, we need to increase adoption across the continent because of economic instability. And this is the situation in nearly 70% of the countries around the continent. Again, we understand volatility. In my country, Nigeria, the exchange rates between the US dollar and the Nigerian naira increased from 150 naira to a dollar to right now, it's about 716 naira to $1. And this is within 6 years. So this is probably about the same rate as Bitcoin, if you ask me. And we understand volatility across the continent. So it's not so much of a problem that the cryptocurrencies are volatile because we understand volatility. There's a very high unemployment rates, and the possibility of gaining skills in blockchain or DLTs and then being able to work remotely would really help the unemployment rates. I read a publication early this year where it says that by 2030, Dubai would have about 42,000 remote jobs for people with blockchain and DLT skills. So these are some of the opportunities that we're hoping that other Africans can take advantage of and begin to work remotely when they gain these skills. India as well is reported to have probably about 800,000 remote jobs by the same time, by about 2030. Also, there's a really high number of unbanked and underbanked individuals. So the opportunity to relate with either a central bank digital currency or virtual currencies that reduce the barriers to entry into the banking sector is really important for us. The possibility of borderless transactions, again, affordable borderless transactions, because we all know that the traditional transactions are more expensive for international payments. And then P2P networks. There's a very high sense of community across Africa. So P2P networks have been thriving and keep thriving in spite of crypto bans. Even recently, we had Binance, the SEC in Nigeria, that let out a circular to say that Binance was banned in Nigeria, and they didn't want Binance as an exchange to work in Nigeria anymore. Right. So, what are the challenges that we have to increased adoption when it comes to compliance? Number one, we have resistance from the regulators. So what's really happening and what is popular now is that our regulators in the finance sector and generally in compliance in the legal sector and in government are just beginning to understand the value offered by cryptocurrencies and virtual currencies and the value in the technology. And like I said earlier on, Nigeria, we just got a federal government approval to be able to use this technology to improve business processes. And this is because they're becoming aware how beneficial the technology has been to other businesses across the world. And then seeing that the big names in business across the world are beginning to adopt the technology, it has been an encouragement for them as well. Another challenge that we have seen is digital literacy levels. So most people are still on the Web 1, Web 2 level, and then coming on to Web 3 has been really slow. So the digital literacy levels has been another reason for reduced adoption. Then we have a high number of unbanked and underbanked individuals again, which is a challenge that we have because most people are just comfortable with what they have and have probably not seen the need to improve their banking level yet. Then we have mobile money services. So the mobile money is a scheme, and this is a way that people can send money to their loved ones using their mobile phones. So they just send it to the person's mobile line and then the person can access funds. So it's been made so convenient, and it is it's a system that we see that can challenge adoption, because then when people are comfortable, then they can resist change even when the change is better and more beneficial for them. So these mobile money services have also been identified as a possible challenge to increased adoption. So how can compliance impact on adoption? John Locke said that where there is no law, there is no freedom, because people are not sure what to do. They don't know how they should actually go about it. Everything that occurs in the cryptocurrency space, as active as it is in Nigeria, happens without the banks, happens without regulators, and happens without the government. So there is obviously no freedom because there is no law. And I know this is because the regulators are still trying to understand it better and to see how best they can also probably begin to tax cryptocurrencies and crypto investments and digital assets investments as well. Again, we have nearly 70% of the African population who still believe that cryptocurrencies are scams or maybe even a Ponzi scheme. They don't understand how it works. They don't know what it is. Most people think it's a get rich quick scheme. And yeah, they're trying to still understand that as well. Law, we believe that law brings structure and order. So where there is the regulation and where we have proper laws in place, then we can enforce compliance, because there will be a structure about how cryptocurrencies should be traded, how the exchanges can behave when they're in our jurisdiction, and all this will bring in a lot more structure and order. People will begin to embrace digital assets better, and then we can see how we can see a better impact on the country and on the continent as a whole. Again, I believe that compliance will foster more structured education about the technology, as people only fight what they don't understand. So when we have compliance in place, then we can have better structured education. Now people find they learn wherever they can. There's a lot of information on YouTube, a lot of information on the internet. So they go on their own and learn. We have a few learning institutes and organizations as well where people can, go and get information. But then we can't, it's not extremely structured. And that's because there's no law to encourage structured education in the space. In summary, I'd like to say that cryptocurrency is not only a solution for the fate of the unbanked. On the contrary, it is a method to economically allow the population to control their own wealth. And this is something that is a big, big issue in this part of the world. People need to be able to stand up and say, this is what we own, this is what is ours. We have situations and cases where females are not allowed to inherit property. Females are not allowed to get anything. But when we have a better banking system and with digital assets, it will make it easier, where wills can be on smart contracts. So there's a lot of innovation that is going on in the space as well. The intangible nature of digital currencies means that a government cannot physically remove the wealth of a citizen. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, my name is Modupe, and I'm the founder of Credence. Credence is a blockchain solutions company. We are in Nigeria, but we work throughout the whole of Africa. So we have blockchain consulting, we build blockchain solutions, we have security and compliance as a service, and we are also involved in data and research, blockchain data and research. We're also involved, we have a Credence Academy and we have Credence Recruitment, where we connect blockchain talent from Africa to the rest of the world. So you can connect with me on any of our social media handles. And I've also included my WhatsApp number for anyone who would just like to say hey. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks, Anne-Marie, again for inviting me. And that's all I have today. Thank you.